favorite thing I like doing with my wife. Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I'd take a ride out today. My wife wanted to come. It's not a very nice day, so I was surprised she wanted to come, but whatever. The more the merrier, right? I haven't done a vlog in a while, so I was inspired by another YouTuber that I saw that he was doing the things people hate about the new Lowrider ST. Now this video is not really about the Lowrider ST. However, it made me it gave me the idea, because one of the things people hated about, or that he was talking about, that people told him that they didn't like about the Lowrider ST, was the gauge. Now, if you're not familiar with it, it's the gauge that's up here that has been on the street bob for a while. It's like an analog, or it's a digital, but an older style digital, and they think it just doesn't look very nice, right? It's kind of older, antiquated one. I like it. I have nothing wrong with it. I was actually looking at the street bob when I was first looking at getting a motorcycle, so I always liked it. I've only sat on them and looked at them. I haven't ridden a bike with it to know how well you can read it and stuff like that, but I mean, I do like the look of it. It's pretty minimalistic and everything like that, so it is kind of a nice gauge in my opinion. So this video is not really about the gauge, but it kind of is about the gauge, and it's more or less about how Harley's kind of damned if they do and damned if they don't. I know a lot of companies can fall into this category, but I think it's not necessarily uniquely to Harley Davidson. But in some aspects, I think it is unique, just because of their clientele, fan base, whatever you want to call them. They toe a fine line. They have their die-hard, old-style, old-school mentality riders, fans. They have the younger generation that's coming up, and they have guys like me that you know, they're old school, but they're not old school, and you know, they kind of like most things Harley does, but yeah, so I wanted to talk about that, and what made me think of it was him talking about this gauge and how people thought it was, you know, too old for it. Well, to me, a gauge that's old is like this one, where it's the analog, right? That's an old gauge. And to me, I love it. I think it's great. I wouldn't mind. I know people criticize the old Lowrider S, where it has the two gauges, the tach and the speedometer, because you always have to look down. You know, it's a safety thing, and I get that. However, I think it's pretty cool. I like seeing the RPMs go up. I like seeing the speedometer go up. Like, it's a pretty cool thing, old school. Having said that, that digital display that's on the new Sportster S, I think that's pretty damn cool. I think it's very nice. Lots of readout. Probably too much information that I would never ever use. I know on my vehicles, I always, you know, have to have all the bells and whistles, and 75% of all those things I never ever use. So it's kind of pointless to have them, but you know, you kind of always want to have it. But or that's where I am anyways. And to me, the one on the new Lowrider ST is kind of mid-range. You know, it's old school in the fact that it's an older digital display, but it's not as old as an analog. But it's definitely nowhere near what the Sportster S or the Nightster digital gauge is. having said that, I like all of them. Like, I find there's certain aspects of each one that I like. So I'm not here to tell you which one I like better or anything, because I think a lot of people would be like me, where it depends on which day it is, right? Which day of the week it is. Like today, riding out on this, it'd be kind of nice to know what the ambient air temperature is out. I have no idea why, because I probably could have looked at that before I left, but whatever. It just would have been kind of nice. Like this here, I know I need a gas, and that's all I really need this to tell me about, because I'm out enjoying a ride, enjoying the scenery, enjoying the bike. So I mean, you don't really need all that digital fluff, right? I don't need like a big display, you know, a big iPad that's sitting up here, right? But every once in a while it'd be kind of cool. But so really what this video is about is talking about Harley, and they're damned if they do and damned if they don't, because you have your old mentality riders that love the analog gauges, and they want nothing but analog gauges, and you can't go anything forward. I've even heard people complain about these analog gauges that I have, where it's an analog and then it has the digital display at the bottom. I've heard people complain about that they don't like that. They want to have that, the analog speedometer and the analog tachometer. And like I said, I get the appeal of that, but like, this is fine. Like, this shows me what my RPMs are. That's all you need, right? Because to me, this functionality is one thing, and most of it comes down to looks when it comes to this kind of stuff. You either like the look of this or you don't. It's not really about the functionality, because at the end of the day, they mainly tell you what you need to know. Like this gauge here tells me everything I need to know: my speed, my RPMs, you know, my distance to empty. Even like, that's pretty cool to have on a bike. Even has a clock on there, tachometer, or not tachometer, but trip gauges, like that kind of stuff, right? That's all nice to have. I don't need it. You don't need it for a motorcycle. Christ, there's people on dirt bikes that don't even have a fuel gauge, right? You don't really need it, but they're nice to haves. And you know, it does come down to aesthetics and whether you like the look of it or not, and that's what I think a lot of this stuff comes down to. But with Harley, I find a lot of that new stuff turns people off, right? Because when people were talking to this guy and talking about how they don't like the gauge, it's too antiquated, you know, it looks like an old calculator, you know, they don't like. That's their complaint for it, and which maybe it's valid or not, but it's like, don't get a bike with that gauge on it, right? Because those are the same people that aren't going to like this analog gauge either, because it's too old school, you know. And then you'll have the flip side where, you know, some guys aren't going to like that digital display, or the new one, right? So Harley can't go into those ones either, because those people are not going to like it. So really, they're, like I said, they're damned if they do and damned if they don't. So I even think with the new bikes, with the new bikes Harley's coming out with, I think they're exciting. The Pan America, the Sportster S, the Nightster, I think it's pretty damn cool. Yeah, do I want them to keep the old Sportster around and all that crap? Yeah, it would be nice, but I'm for one, I think it's fantastic. I like I said, knock on wood, my wife's looking to get her license, and I really hope she does look at one of those the Nightster or the Sportster as a model to take. Although she really does like the street bob, but that's beside the point. So I really do hope those take off. I really do think I would look at the Pan America for myself. The only reason I say that is because where I drive on these backcountry roads a lot, and there's a lot of times I've gone and it's a really cool area, and then next thing you know, it's a dirt road, and I'm not taking this down on a dirt road. I've tried it a couple times, but I don't like it. So I think it'd be cool to go down some of those dirt roads on a Pan America. Yeah, I'd be the stupid dentist in a SUV and never ever use it for off-road purposes or anything like that, but I think it'd be pretty neat. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on Harley Davidson? Do you think they're damned if they do and damned if they don't with this, all the new technology that they're introducing? Because you're gonna have the people that aren't gonna like it. You're gonna have people that do like it, but a lot of times the people that do like it aren't necessarily Harley's target market. Me personally, I think they have to do something to get the new generation of Harley riders in there. And I see a lot of younger guys really liking the Harley, so hopefully they make it go a bit. But yeah, what are your thoughts on it? Do you guys think that Harley can't win? They're in a no-win situation where they can't stay the same, but they can't change? I think they're on the right path. I think when they brought up that Street Series motorcycle, they kind of missed the mark, and it had something to do with not being made in America. But I think these new bikes are gonna do it. Their new technology with their different instrument gauges are gonna make a difference. But anyways, let me know what you think. Until next time, later.